Hello and welcome to Traffic Talks. My name is Pyro and I talk about what's going on in my life, usually with a lesson I've learned, some tips and tricks you can follow that helped me, and a lot of laughs in each episode. If this sounds like something you would enjoy hearing, feel free to follow the podcast, subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and to see what I'm up to, you can check out my Instagram page linked below. Bye! Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I hope you are doing well. Yes, this episode is late. I actually just recorded a little visual of what the setup looks like every time I record. And it's basically having to set up the microphone every single time, getting my Google Doc ready on my tab, getting the phone that I record on, because the phone that I have is a Samsung and it doesn't have an audio jack. So I can't just plug things in and record. So I use my older phone that I got before I upgraded. So that's just gonna show you the whole convoluted scheme of prepping to record an episode. Yeah, which is a whole other thing. But yeah, I'm currently load shedding and it's almost the end of the workday. It's 3 p.m. I'm going to record as fast as possible, which not going to be an easy feat, and then edit after work because I still need to get to work after 4 when the lights come on. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's just a preface to this episode. I'm sorry, not sorry, it's late. Life has been throwing me curveballs, so we'll see. But yeah, I've had a week, had a day. It's been hectic. So yeah, today's episode is basically the emotional roller coaster winter has put me through. I have no words, honestly. I don't know why, I just know it's been hectic. And generally, the lack of sunlight gives people SAD, which I know is sad, but seasonal affective disorder is a thing where the lack of sunlight makes you sad. And I know for a fact I don't get a lot of sunlight in general because I work indoors, I stay indoors, I don't leave my house often, hence my immune system being so weak. But I didn't realize how hard winter would hit this year, and then also how hard it would hit me, and that shook me to my core. Not just did the seasons changing affect me, I had to realize I was standing in my own way when it came to my routines, which in turn affected my mood throughout this change of season. So strap in, this is going to be an episode and a half. Get a warm drink, get a blankie, put your heater on, and chill with me while we discuss this. As I mentioned, winter is known for affecting people's moods, and I'm someone who feels things very intensely, and this season coming around and being as cold as it is in the first place threw me for a loop, and the way that affected my mental health scared me. Not for anything too intense, just because I have not realized how good I have been doing mentally in terms of cutting others out and focusing inwards, and that the slightest curveball to surprise me threw me completely out the game. I lost it. So I needed to realize that focusing on my mental health is not just something to do for a short time, it's something to do on a continuous basis, but also to not overdo it, because too much of a good thing is a bad thing. So I've been trying to protect my sanity and mental health and clarity by trying to nail down routines, especially the morning and evening routine. I think I mentioned this last week or sometime before that. If you fill your cup in the morning, you can give from a full cup throughout the day, and by the time you get to the evening, you can refill that cup again for yourself and just take me time to kind of put into yourself once again, and then go sleep. Start your morning off again, focusing on you, giving out through the day, and then refilling your cup again. That is something I think is a really good thing. I remember hearing something like that from Dr. Phil's wife, whose name was Robin, if I'm not mistaken, my bad. And she said she gets up earlier than everyone in the household. She takes care of herself first. She exercises, she makes herself a breakfast, she spends some time on her own, and then she goes about getting the day ready for breakfast for her husband and sons and all their things. And I was just like, that is such a good thing to take into and to add to your life, because everyone's things look different. Everyone's job is different. Everyone's needs are different. And being able to take it and use it in your way is the best thing to do. Because I know for me, trying to copy and paste someone else's morning routine into my life is not gonna work. I know that I've been looking at like arbitrary influences and trying to find their morning routines. And I did read a book a couple years ago, I think it was a couple years ago, called My Morning Routine. And it took different people's morning routines and showed you what they did. You know, different continent, different genders, different family dynamics. And they showed you what they did. And I thought that was interesting. And the point of it was to show you everyone's morning routine is different. And I needed to realize that. I needed to come up with a morning routine that suits me. And in winter, I don't like getting up early. So why was I trying to get up at 6 o'clock when I hate being up that early? And because I don't have to travel to work anymore, I don't need to be up that early. So I put myself through that misery. Like, it's completely pointless. And it's just doing more harm than good, because I end up hating and dreading the mornings. So trying to copy and paste other people's morning routines when we don't have the same needs, we don't have the same benefits. Like, I know some people actually had special ACs that would heat their rooms. I don't have that. They enjoyed getting up early in the morning and they had stuff prepped. I didn't. And it's not to say that I couldn't do that. I could obviously just get a heater, put it on the moment I wake up, prep foods and things like that. But I didn't want to, because I don't like eating that early in the morning. I don't like getting up and working out that early in the morning. There's not a lot of things I enjoy doing that early in the morning, especially when it's that cold. And realizing that opened my eyes. That said, trying new things is always a good idea. But the best thing is, it's gonna take trial and error to figure out your ideal morning routine. And that's where you try things out. You see what works, you see what doesn't. You keep what sticks and you get rid of the rest. Hopefully it's all good, but anything bad you try and get rid of. For example, one thing I saw was that this person literally referred to it as putting their phone in jail. They would get up, turn off the alarm on their phone, put it in a drawer, close it, and then walk out of the room after making their bed. And I was just like, that is such a clever thing. Because how many times do we not get up, unlock our phone, turn off the alarm, and then just start scrolling through notifications, checking things, doing stuff. And that surprised me. I was like, I know I need to start getting away from technology. I just didn't realize how much until I sat for about 45 minutes in bed scrolling through my phone after finally getting up early. Like, I was so mad at myself. I got up early, I had eaten, I had done a full skincare routine, I had done all the stuff right, and then I went and wasted 45 minutes. So it's trial and error. You learn things as you go. And the best thing is you can start incorporating it right now. If you want to wake up early, set an alarm, get up early. Better yet, set 2 alarms. Here's a very good hack. Set 2 alarms. Set one tonight for when you need to go to sleep and give yourself half an hour. So if you want to go sleep by 11, set an alarm for 10:30 tonight. Put your phone across the room on charge, leave it there, get ready for bed, and then go to bed. One thing we always do is scroll and just waste time. So cut that out. Put the phone on as far away as you can, get into bed and go sleep. And the second alarm you set is for the time you want to wake up tomorrow. Hopefully it's enough hours of sleep, and go sleep. Easier said than done, I know, but just try that. You never know what might work for you. And if it doesn't, hey, you learn something that doesn't work, you can move on to a method that just might do better than that one. Another thing I noticed in this kind of trial and error phase that I was doing was that I needed to be patient with myself. Results don't happen overnight. Like I said, with the sleep, you might not fall asleep immediately, so the things don't always work out the way you intend to, but that will gradually develop over time. You just need to be patient with it. And that for me is the hardest thing. Like, if I'm doing good today, I want to see the effects tomorrow. I understand that it doesn't always happen that way, but it's a good thing to just try and have some patience with it. And especially the small differences. I know I've been doing a lot more intensive skincare than I used to do. So I've got serums, I've got rubs, I've got all sorts of things that I'm doing as well now. On top of taking vitamins and things religiously, I've added more vitamins to my vitamin routine. I don't know what you call it. But I've seen the difference it makes, especially under my eyes, because I know sleep is always elusive, but the after effects of the bags under the eyes are worse. So my skin is looking better, all because I've just started incorporating small routines around making sure I take my vitamins, drinking my water, doing my skincare, getting it in every single day. And I don't do my vitamins every day. I sometimes do my skincare once a day instead of twice. But I'm trying. I'm having patience and grace. And I think that is definitely important. Not just patience, but having grace with yourself and being like, okay, I did it once today, but 2 weeks ago I wasn't doing it at all, so that's a plus. Like, I'm getting there. And that to me is the best thing about progress, that once you eventually do it long enough, you kind of like, oh, I forgot to do it. I'm gonna go do it now when I have 2 minutes. Or however long you have to just do one small thing. Once something like that becomes a habit, you are actually going to find yourself remembering to do it without having to do any triggers. A lot of people call it habit stacking, where instead of just brushing your teeth in the morning and walking on, you're going to start brushing your teeth and flossing, even if it's once a day or once every other day. That eventually it's going to become so part of your teeth cleaning routine that you're going to brush, you're going to floss, you're going to mouthwash, and then you're going to actually feel that after a while, just brushing your teeth is not enough. You're going to feel almost incomplete without adding those other steps. And that's going to be a good thing because you're going to have such good care. You're going to have such a solid habit. You can build other things. So instead of just, like with me, just washing my face, putting on some cream, sometimes just washing the face and walking away, I now feel weird if I don't wash the face, do my toner, put on some serum, do my cream, do my lip care. All those small things add up, and I'm very grateful for it, even if some mornings and evenings it just feels like a hassle. I know one night I was so in the routine, I was about to start and load shedding hit, that I actually just lit a whole bunch of candles and then still did the routine, because I'm just like, I can't go sleep without doing this. So I'm very glad it's become a habit, and I think it's a beautiful thing when you see the results and it shocks you. Not in a bad way shocks you, but like you see yourself every day but you don't actually notice it, and then one day you just look at yourself and you're just like, oh, this is nice. Like, that is what you need. So finding your habits, working with trial and error, finding good tips from people that you admire. So I'm not saying negate any and every influencer or person you happen to see in any which way, be that in real life, be it your friends, be it on social media. I'm saying take what works for you. Try different things, see what works, and then incorporate that into your routine and have patience and grace with yourself. This is not something that's going to happen overnight, but you can start changing things overnight. So just go with the flow when you are ready. This is something that has definitely helped me stabilize my emotions, because I know I'm taking time for me in the morning, I'm taking time for me in the evening, and anything that happens in between is just in the wind, kind of, if I can put it that way. Like, I am not going to overthink things that happen, but I am going to be very conscious of how I react and feel about them. Because the thing is, I'm standing in my own way, and that is something I had to realize. I had to realize I have issues that I need to sort out. And with my mother being gone for 15 days, my siblings and I had to kind of make up for when she was gone. You know, we had to kind of pick up the day-to-day slack that she usually kept up. And that was something that really opened my eyes to A, what she does, but B, what I can do, like the potential of it. And that is something that you don't know until you are in the situation. A lot of life lessons, I always emphasize, can be learned by other people. You can learn things from philosophers, from celebrities, from people in the public eye. You can learn things from watching other people, maybe family or friends, go through something and learn that lesson. But some lessons, and I had this discussion with my sister, some lessons you just need to learn for yourself. And this lesson, I really, really learned. Once again, yes, I've learned it before, but I don't think it's stuck. Because when I did it in COVID, it was more of a survival type of mentality around it. Like we were all stuck in this together. We were all going through this and suffering through this together. Now it wasn't that same feel of necessity and having to band together. It was more of a choice. And the fact that we all chose to put in these efforts really, really just, it surprised me in a good way. Like I kind of knew in the back of my mind it would be successful. But the fact that I realized I could do much more for myself surprised me. Like I thought I was doing a lot for myself, but I wasn't doing enough. And that's not to say I am not enough, because I am. I'm saying I have room for improvement in terms of the responsibility I take for what I do with my time. Because I realized with my mom gone, we all picked up a lot of slack around the house. But while she was gone, I was doing all sorts of things for the house and not really myself. And now that she's back, she's taken over some of the tasks and I have a lot more time. But like I said, I was wasting 45 minutes just scrolling on my phone. I'm responsible for my time and what I do with it. And I can either choose to put effort into things that benefit me, like research for an episode, editing, doing a quick workout. There are so much things I can do. But no, I'd rather scroll for 45 minutes on Pinterest and dream about living my best life instead of just getting up and actually doing it and making steps towards it. So that was something that was very eye-opening for me, and it gave me a bit of a knock emotionally, because it's like instant regret hits you like a brick to the face. Because it's like, why would I have wasted all that time? It's not like I was overwhelmed. It's not like I was not good. I just was bored. But I have all these tasks. Like, I've got enough things to preoccupy my time with. Why would I waste it? So the point was my mental health. I didn't realize I self-sabotaged in that way. And once I kind of dug deeper, I was able to see like, oh, it's because I'm scared of success. Which is a weird thing to say, especially out loud. But I'm scared of succeeding, which is dumb. Like, everyone's scared of failing. Who is scared of succeeding? Apparently me. Because if I put the effort in, I know I can do more, do better. Because there's a job I want to apply for, and that comes with a whole bunch of other things, like updating my CV, making sure all the specs are met, doing all sorts of other things. But nope, 45 minutes of Pinterest instead. Why? Self-sabotage. And I had to dig deep and I figured it out. And that really has been the key factor to my mental health. Yes, winter has affected me negatively, but there are still things we can do to work on it. And getting good routines has been one, especially because my evening routine consists of me journaling. And journaling about my day, as mundane as it is, sometimes helps me figure out these kinds of things that I didn't know existed. Because I will literally start. So this morning I got up at this time, then I did this. And then in journaling that out, something might just pop up. Because you know how these wild thoughts hit and you're just like, oh, I had that thought, let me unpack it, let me dig deeper. And that is something I've definitely been trying to do. And keeping up the consistency with that routine has helped me dig so deep into my mental health that I actually have been going back and forth with, should I go back to my therapist or not? And I've actually decided against it once and for all. Let's hope I don't go back on my word. But I've decided, like, I'm good. I've been doing my work. I've been taking better care of myself and especially protecting my mental health to the point that I don't feel I need to go. I might go later in the year just for like a one-off, but I definitely don't feel I need the therapy. And that's kind of the thing, you know, you just want to go for a checkup to the doctor. You don't want to stay there permanently. And that's what I feel this is. Like, I'm doing good. I'm taking steps to be better. I'm not needing the professional assistance like I felt I needed a while ago. And that, I think, is a very good indicator of how much these routines have helped. even if it isn't 100% perfected. Because I know life changes, people change, routines change, needs change, and I always compare it to a baby. When you have a baby, your whole routine is changed, and that's kind of what this is. You have to adapt to a whole new way of being, a whole new way of living, and that to me has been fun because I do like trying new things. I do like developing things, and I do like trial and error. This might work, that might not. And above all, I love the stats. I love seeing how consistent I am. I love seeing how the results add up over time. I love seeing that. And that's just me being a nerd. But yeah, the one thing I will say is, even if you aren't 100% consistent or perfectly execute every routine, because maybe there's just something one day that pops up, trying to do the routine and doing some of it is better than nothing. Because there's nothing worse than being like, oh, I did this thing 3 days in a row and I skipped one and I'm going to try again tomorrow. Versus, oh, I did it 3 days in a row, I skipped 1 day, it's useless. No. You doing it for 3 days consistently is better than you not doing it for a week. Get back on the wagon, keep going. One thing I will say is that this weather has not helped health-wise. I started exercising and then I had to cancel doing that because I was so sick I couldn't breathe properly, and that is okay. Having to actually stop something for physical health reasons is fine. But once I got back to being healthy, or at least decently healthy, just a slight cough and a slight cold, I was able to then stretch it out, do some yoga, do small movements to help me move versus the full-blown workout that would have just exhausted me and hurt more than it would have healed. But that's the thing, you learn to adapt. The more you know, the more you can do with that knowledge, and being able to do that has definitely helped me with a lot of things, especially creative-wise. I find my brain, moves better. So I've got better ideas, I'm able to work things out more, and I enjoy that creative burst that I've been given. But finding something I can do regardless of the weather has been a bonus. YouTube has been amazing in that regard. So definitely find something you enjoy that you can do where the weather won't affect you as badly. I know a lot of people enjoy going to the gym. I used to, I don't anymore, but I just enjoy working out at home. So once again, trial and error. Find what works for you and do that. So one thing I will also add is that figuring out things will help you. And by this, I mean plan. Plan. I love planning. And one of the things I would say is plan out things big and then narrow them down. So like an upside down triangle, if you would, where the idea is at the top and then you just narrow it down to the most basic thing you can do. So for example, if you want to gym, figure out where you want to gym first and foremost. Do you want to go with a personal trainer? Do you want to do it yourself? Do you want to work out at home? Figure that out. Then, when do you want to work out? What days do you want to work out? Figure that. Figure out your nutrition, what you need to eat, plan your meals. And work your way down the list to the smallest thing of making sure you have proper gym clothes. Make sure you've eaten before you go gym. Basic things like that. And do that for everything. For me especially, the most basic thing I could do in order to get productive and do things was check the weather. That sounds weird, but hear me out, okay? I checked the weather and I found out what days are the warmest, what days are the coldest, which ones are going to rain, which ones aren't. And I've planned things around that. On warmer days, I'm more active, I'm doing more. On colder days, I'm huddled up and doing more computer work, more work that is kind of cuddled up work that you can do, basically. So editing, typing out a script, doing some research, all things like that I can do from my bed where it's warm versus the cold weather outside. And then days that are warm, I can do other things. Like I've been going out more often this last while, especially July as a month. And I'm actually meeting a friend this coming weekend. And it's going to be a good day because I've checked the weather. I can make plans. I can prep my episodes. I can do all sorts of things. And it started by simply checking the weather. So make things as easy as possible for yourself and do the small things that you think are pointless, but they actually can add a whole bunch of productivity to getting your things done. The last thing I will say is that planning is pointless without checking in. Don't just check the weather and be like, okay, cool, Tuesday's going to be warm. No, plan around that. Break down what you need to do. Write down a list of tasks you need to achieve. Spread them out across the week if you have to. Tick them off when they're done. Move on to the next one. Get a checklist or a task list or something where you can see what needs to be done. For me, by checking the weather, I know what days I can do what kind of work. I've been blazing through the task list I set for myself, and I've managed to tick off so much, especially in terms of prep for YouTube, that I've been doing with my old posts. I need to get my prep done for a couple of the thumbnails, but like episodes are prepped, thumbnails are prepped. I've got stuff I want to do for my Instagram profile that I want to update. I've done a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time, all because I simply prepped for it, and when the time came to do it, I buckled down and I did it. So, to close out this episode, yes, the weather can affect us, and it did affect my mental health very badly in the beginning, but once I learned to work with it, work with myself, work with routines and planning things out properly, it tends to kind of sort itself out just by way of cause and effect. You do good things, that is the effect it'll have on you. You do bad things, that is the effect it'll have on you. And the beauty of this is that we don't realize we are collecting data on ourselves, so that next year when winter hits, we already know what to do. We already know to check the weather. We already know to prep in advance. We already know how to be productive when we don't want to. Or even if it's not a whole season later, sometimes we get those odd winter days in summer or spring, or we get a very good summer day in winter. You never know. So we'll know what to do when those days come along, and we'll be able to make the most of it. So, yep, that's it. That's it from me for this episode. It's long. I've been recording for 33 minutes, so let's hope I can edit it to be much shorter than that. But yeah, the song of the week is Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. I thought that was really a catchy song, and it just came to me as I was talking about the weather and things, and I thought, I'm going to use that song. So I will obviously put all the information down below. I will link it to Spotify, all the 9 yards that I usually do, and a short reminder to keep being a better being, even if the weather makes you feel not so good. Take your vitamins, get some sunlight or vitamin D, and enjoy your day. Love you. Bye.